Right, what I'm going to do is show you this model. It's part of a collection available on the continent. I've just brought it back from France. They call it Collection Les Voitures de Tintin. So it's a collection of the cars of Tintin. This is number 12. So there have been 11 previous vehicles associated with the character Tintin from that Belgian author, Hergé. Anyway, some people are sort of buying these, or they've got taking the part work and keeping it, all in the packaging. Some are buying it for the cover price, which is 39.99 euros, so 40 euros, give or take, a cent. And then they do appear on eBay and other places. Typically then, having bought it for 40 euros, they're selling it for about 50 and upwards. Do be aware that there are two sizes, two scales. There's another line. This is 1/24th scale. 1/24th scale. Anyway, so it comes packed with a little brochure. It tells you a bit more about it. It's all in French. And then you get the model. And I particularly like this when I saw it. I nearly wasn't able to get one because I hesitated. And I'm very fortunate that I did find one. So it's mounted onto the card there. And then when you take it off the card that it was all connected to, you do get down to the box eventually that it comes in. There's the box. And then I've obviously opened this before. I'm just going to pause it while I open this box here because I don't want to break it. So that's the upper case. So you've got something that's like a display case. You could display it in. I'll take that off. So, you can keep the dust off and display it in that case. And that would look fine if you want to have a display model. Hachette, who are producing this, it's been marketed by them and also Le Monde. Say there could be up to 50 different models in the series. They'll decide as and when, depending on how the subscriptions go. But there we are now. We can get down and we can see the car. This is going to go very nicely on my garden railway, which is 1:22.5, 1:24. So it's about the right scale for that. I haven't yet unscrewed it from its base, but I can tell that it's got rubber tyres. It has some die cast and a lot of plastic to it. It's not the highest detail model of this scale that you can get, but then the issue is it's based on a cartoon, and the cartoons were, quite simply drawn, so they weren't drawn with lots and lots of detail on them, enough detail on the cartoons. The other thing is, the booklet does tell you about some of the background. This is based on a car from the 1920s, say 1926, and the car itself only featured on a couple of pages of the volume called L'Oreille Cassé, which I understand means the broken ear. And the broken ear. And the book will tell you a little bit more about it, but I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, it's a car that Tintin managed to escape from some pursuers in. He managed to jump into the car that his pursuers were pursuing him in when they were distracted. So it wasn't his car, and get away. You'll see that it's a right-hand drive car. I believe the action was set in South America. You've got Tintin himself and Moulou, the dog. In the UK, we know Moulou as Snowy. So you got Tintin and Snowy. And it's called L'Auto Mitrailleuse. Excuse my French pronunciation. So it's the machine gun car. So they had a machine gun mounted in this car and the flag of the nation where it was coming from. Also, as the soldiers jumped out, they left their rifles in the back. And so the rifles are modelled there, quite nicely modelled, if I'm getting the right thing there. They're the like the ones I used when I was a lad in the CCF, like 303 rifles, a bolt, show the bolt action. There's the actual machine gun standing on the seat, and right down in the bottom is a box of ammunition. There's Snowy, or Milo, with his paws up on the dashboard, looking out. And there's Tintin modelled, complete with his legs down to the bottom, sitting in the car. And the expression has been chosen to match one of the, let's say, stills, or should we say frames from the cartoon book. I'm just going to take a still of this. Right, so there we have it. That's a model I'm very pleased with. I was prompted by it because it's of a size and scale suitable for my model railway. I'm not going to be a collector of this series or even a collector of this model, so it's not going to stay in its case. It might go back into its case just for protection in between times when it's out on the garden railway. I'm obviously not going to leave it out because it's a fairly nice and special model. Very pleased with it. €40. Unfortunately, as it's one of these part work things and made in small quantities, you will find that there'll be people that buy it just to make 10 or 20 euros or so by selling them on without doing anything else with them. But there we go, that's what happens. But at the cover price of €40, I think it's quite a nice thing to have if you want something unusual for your G-scale or garden railway at a scale of 1 to 24. Or if you're a fan of Tintin, you want one of the cars, just go online, search. Hachette have a website, and www.voiturestintin.com. But if you just search for the cars of Tintin, you'll get pictures of them, and you'll see the various models so far released in this series. I hope that's of some interest to you. If you haven't heard of this thing before, you might find that it's quite an interesting idea.